We welcome you to Irvine, where the County Line Coalition is ready to march at the beat of their own drum. The reigning champion of the league, Orange County Soccer Club, is back home tonight, and it's presented by Hogue. It's El Paso Locomotive to take on Orange County SC. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr, happy to welcome you. We'll look at the Western Conference standings right now. Well, it's interesting, Devin, because Orange County, games in hand, certainly, but they're under that line. El Paso has just gotten back above it, and it took a minute.
I would say the good news for both of these teams, though, is that over half of the teams in the top 7 above the playoff line are on an L coming into the weekend. You look around and go, okay, wait, you guys are on the downslope. That's not the case for El Paso Locomotive or Orange County. It's time for them to make a statement, whether Orange County following up after the quality performance at home or Locomotive on the road to hit the 8th notch.
How about 5 goals? 5 notches on the bedpost for Orange County last time out.
The report card from the teacher says does not play well with others when given to the parent. 5-0, 5 in a single half. Mike, the last time they put 5 in the back of the net, the gaffer himself, Richard Chaplow, was playing in the 6th back on September 26th of 2018. It was a breakout game for Orange County at home. They're just hoping that they can follow it up once again. And there was a lot of chatter about this team over the past couple of games. Are they in trouble? They're not in the same 4 at the tail end of last year. Of course they're not. They're 11 games into the season. They've got 11 points. That's fine. They're 17. When you look at the comparisons, the points are close. The goal differential isn't that far off. Outside of clean sheets, I would make the argument in terms of overall form, they're very similar to where they were last year. There should be no worries in Orange County.
Meanwhile, for El Paso, Mark Lowry goes. That's the only coach they've ever known. So they go out and they get John Hutchinson, and I think a lot of people were panicking, and now they aren't.
The last 5 for them, 4-1-0. That's top of the USL Championship, tied with a couple other teams like 901 FC in the East. They're ticking at a high level. First 5, last 5. It's real simple. This is how you look at it. New coach, new system, new players, old players, players that hadn't come into camp yet, guys out of shape and just flat out poor form. That's a lot to handle. So they stumbled a bit, but it's been really good over the last 5. Now they've got quality of opponents coming into the stable. It's a really good result against Sacramento Republic. You got to follow it up now, and against a really strong team in Orange County that Chapel's put out.
Yep, let's staff the starting 11. It's brought to you by Kimco Staffing. It's a group that only made 1 change. Partita injured this week.
Kasipli into the middle, and I look at Iloski up top and what he was able to do, Kubo Torres and Miko Kaningas. Kaningas is going to jump onto that front line. Sometimes they can jump 5 into the middle and bring Peterson down underneath. The back 3 has been great. My only question about him is sometimes the separation that's created between the units. But Milan Iloski, 4th hat trick in team history, Player of the Week for the USL Championship. He was magnificent against FC Tulsa.
He's our player to watch. It's brought to you by Omega Accounting. Milan Iloski leads the way for Orange County. Can he get something by Evan Newton tonight? He remains in the lineup. It's everything else that's a mix. 5 changes from the win against Sacramento.
Within all of those changes, though, this just comes down to a systematic success type change where it's not overly possession-based like it was Mark Lowry. There's more transition, forward-thinking philosophy in John Hutchinson. Can Richie Ryan get to Nick Hines, to Zacharias? The overlapping runs from Siobhan John Brown. With all of those changes, can you maintain success on the road for El Paso Locomotive? Big ask here tonight.
All right, we've got a fun one in store. It's presented by Hogue. It's Orange County and El Paso, and it's coming up next. Back post run, header down and in! Rakowski got a piece. Asante turns. Rakowski gets up. Orange County strikes first.
I love shovels.
Where did you come from?
Ever find a body?
What? No.
Did you contact 811?
Who are you?
Did you know it's the law?
Why is a child yelling at me?
What if you hit a gas line? Who pays to fix it? Do you? Does my neighbor? Can you go to jail? How much is bail?
It's good to ask questions, like, did you contact 811 before digging?
Are we going to jail? I don't know.
Soccer Stadium in Orange County. Irvine playing host to a big game out west on this Saturday evening in May. It's Orange County and El Paso. And we're underway tonight. Orange County in orange tops, black shorts, white and light blue for El Paso. Long throw coming for Orange County. Bounces down, stayed away from Kasipli. Bombed forward. Header came free and slid away from Moloski, who's finding his form. Peterson. Kuningas. Oh, what an excellent ball wide, and the slide descended out for a corner. Well, the referee considered a corner. They're going to show a goal kick. Zulfagari Law presents tonight's injury report. Fisore and Mfeka out elsewhere. There's Oakland Stars dealing with
saying hello.
Yep, some
Nothing
injury
wrong with
issues.
it. Well, I would say that the biggest injury that has obviously made waves for El Paso Locomotive this week is the loss of Chapa Herrera. A bunch of the guys from El Paso Locomotive in pregame warm-ups paying tribute to their fallen teammate wearing 20 on their back with the knee injury picked up in that win against Sacramento Republic. Speaking with John Hutchinson about it, walked into the locker room, said felt like someone died. It was that silent. He means so much to this organization, and they put forth such a quality effort, but they knew what a loss that was going to be and what it will be moving forward. Counter argument, an opportunity for someone like Siobhan John Brown coming in who had experience, to be fair, just bad form. Much like the Locomotive had at the beginning of the season, he hit a little blip in his career that saw him bounce around, but national team experience, and finally starting to play well in practice. He gets an opportunity at outside back for Locomotive on the right side.
There is the aforementioned Siobhan John Brown. Trotting through midfield, Diego Luna. Luna again. Richard Chaplow sung his praises this week. So we asked about the Orange County opposition. That's a positive step by Skendi. Well, Chapa, a huge loss, as you mentioned, that number 20 on every player's shirt pregame here tonight. An invitational trialist to what Mark Lowry, the former coach in El Paso, called one of his proudest moments working with a young player. Guy who comes from El Paso and Bel Air High School. We wish him well in his recovery.
As if they needed more problems on that back line with all of the injuries they've experienced so far. Mentioned coming in, Mike, that guys were late coming into camp. Guys struggling with form, but injuries have really been an issue. You know, Hutch last night, he's like, Devin, I got 15 field players available. Kind of hear that from a lot of teams right now, but defensively, you didn't really have the option at an outside back. And that's not a knock on Siobhan John Brown, but that's a player who's played the majority of his career in an advanced role. You know, the outside wing and moving onto a front line of a 3 of sorts. But Chapa Herrera out. Harry Brockbank back across seas. I mean, you're looking around going, how many times do I have to put a Band-Aid on this system and yet still find ways to have success? Good news is 4 wins in the last 5, so they've been able to do it.
Good run forward for Orange County. Richards will leave this off. Ball floating, that's gonna get by Newton. It's a pretty remarkable article about the Vancouver goalkeeping woes right now, because Evan Newton's on loan from Vancouver. In theory, why don't you just bring him up with all the goalkeeping injuries they have right now? It's another country. You have to handle the international transfer certificate. It takes weeks. So instead, they brought in a young player from the Canadian Premier League and another player from their academy, an under-20 player, to see out the next week or two. And Evan Newton remains on the field for El Paso. So ultimately, Beigel's loss, the understudy goalkeeper, and Vancouver's loss ultimately is also Evan Newton's loss. But El Paso's gain.
Of course, the opportunity for Evan Newton to step into an MLS role is something that you would love to see, right?
Sure.
The other side of that is it took time for him to really feel comfortable within this system. And let's be frank, people weren't happy, right? They looked at his ability to come off the back line, play with his feet, and it didn't go well. But whether it's a player, a manager, how many times do you see an individual in any profession come into a new environment that they're unaccustomed to and find success right away? It normally doesn't happen. And it just so happened that they've only ever known success in El Paso, and they've only never known Logan Ketterer, who's really comfortable with his feet under Mark Lowry. So the growing pains have definitely been there, but he's finally found it. If you watch him, you'll see him venture off a bit more. He's much more confident in his ways. His distribution has taken another step, and his ability to really dictate some of the tempo going forward gives guys like Borelli and at the aforementioned Chapa, now Siobhan John Brown, the ability to help push these offensive movements going forward to another level, which is what they need because the front line is doing quite well for themselves recently.
Zacharias carrying forward. Throw here for John Brown. It's going to get out. Tonight's keys to the game brought to you by Easy Fleet GPS, keeping your fleet on track. Orange County, quick start.
Yeah, it's simple enough because the last 3 games, the reason they found success is they've had at least 1 goal in the opening 20 minutes. And of course, the drubbing that was FC Tulsa, they saw 3 in that time frame. So RGV on the road, Oakland and FC Tulsa. Quick start, get out in front, stay out in front. The success wasn't there early on because they were playing from behind. The pace and precision has to follow for Locomotive. The forward-thinking philosophy that you will see, it's much more transitional for El Paso Locomotive than some of the possession base you saw under Lowry. They slowed it down a lot more now. It's quick, not as fast as San Antonio, but they like to go from A to Z much faster, but they have to have the quality to match it in precision-like form.
Ricardo Zacharias, Villanueva. This will be a corner for El Paso. Championship banner looking out over Championship Soccer Stadium.
See what you did there.
Well, there's Eric Calvillo, big part of last year's title-winning team with the service. That's kept in by El Paso and then flicked over Richie Ryan. He'll be collected by Yuma. John Brown overtaken. John Brown, did that escape the line? It did. It's a corner. And Calvillo's there. Calvillo had some real thunderbolt moments last year, particularly on free kicks late in the season. He was a marksman for Orange County. Calvillo. Had her touchdown. Cleared out. Be aware of flying objects in the bleachers. This ain't a baseball game. There's no net here.
Trout has been here. Remember that game when Mike Trout was here?
The cutout or
No. He was actually
actual
here.
Mike Trout?
Yeah, actual Mike Trout.
I
They've
missed
had
that one.
everybody here, man.
Tim Salmon?
So, swimming upstream. Are you surprised where these teams sit right now in the year?
No.
Be frank.
Yeah.
I'll be Devin.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm not. If you look at Orange County, it's quite simply there, as this from Yuma is an excellent ball. Good defensive effort to get that out. They were so good defensively that it almost came without a single mistake at the end of last year. It feels like they're finally getting back to that, but it felt impossible to do that for 34 games.
Well, the problem is almost doesn't count at the beginning of the season in 2022, right?
Yep.
It's just, I agree with you in that aspect. I would say, and it's not a think, I know that they've done a really good job at the players that they've brought in, especially the ones they've lost.
Service across, John Brown snaps it down, cleared here by Orange County.
I'm very much a believer, and I've said this to you, a bit more so for El Paso compared to Orange County, that it takes time. And I don't care who you are. If you look at any of the title winners, really historically, to be fair, outside of some of the greats, like Orlando City, like a Rochester Rhinos, and really Red Bull, everybody else has struggled at some point in time. You know, no one's really been the leader in the clubhouse the entire way, and most of the ones that have gone out and put their name in lights haven't really done much come postseason time.
And there's very few that are led by an interim manager who then has to turn around the next year and implement significant pieces of their game plan that they really didn't last year. Richard Chaplow recognized things were going well. Why rock the boat? And that's an immense credit to him.
He was very honest that he wanted to play a different way.
Sure.
We've talked about it at length that although he wanted to, A, with all due respect to the pieces that were there, he didn't have the ability to. And B, to your point, if you're already having success, why would you rattle the cages, right? Just stay with where you're at and continue to fine-tune it. That's what they're able to do. They go get their star and move on. This is a different year, though. I would say that over the past couple of games, though, you're starting to see a true identity emerge from this team.
Yes.
And if you can get guys, especially on the front line, defensively, I've never had an issue with what this team can do. But you get Milano Losky, Kubo obviously is a massive ask up top, and then whether you pair the striker underneath in a false nine, or you play an attacking midfielder type role, or you rotate into three, into Miko Kaningas. You know, what does the midfield look like? If you get one out of the next 4 or 5 players to step up and provide some offensive stability, this team can go places.
And if you get Brian Olowski back, and you've lost Damas, which has been talked about ad nauseum the first quarter or third of the season now. Yeah, to me it's Okoli and Kubo. Someone needs to hit the form that we know them because of, as opposed to what we've seen in the last couple of years, where the amount of time for them hasn't quite been as open to putting up those 15, 20 goal numbers. And then for El Paso, fair to say, it just took a minute. Mark Lowry plays different than almost any coach in the league. Extraordinarily meticulous in the way he goes. Doesn't mean John Hutchinson was going to come in and go the same way.
No, and it's the pieces that you lose too. Changing systems is one thing, but you know, you lose Rebellon, where you can play all over, and he was so good at being that type of player who was willing to do anything. Mishak Jerome on the back line, massive one.
Zacharias playing central. Calvillo taking away Orozco.
A little bit of an issue of the overload in the midfield at this point in time for El Paso Locomotive. Diego Luna and Eric Calvillo just chasing a bit. Give credit to what the front three are doing, Olowski and Kaningas, although Kubo is kind of rotating by himself when Kasipli and Peterson are in there. The little step-ups that are coming It's a 4- and 5-man game at times, and they're just chasing right now. Richie Ryan sitting deep, of course. The good news is they haven't really been able to build a ton through it. And the bad news for Locomotive is there's so many players that they're just doing so much chasing, it's hard to find any sort of rhythm going the other direction.
Tough collision. That's going to be the first yellow card tonight. Nick Hines came with Coach Hutchinson, played for him in Tacoma.
Way too late here. It's the intent and the action. Well done by Hunter Gorski to just see this thing out.
Yellow cards are presented by Easy Fleet GPS. There's Rakowski. Villanueva. Villanueva and Siobhan John Brown got tied up. Kaningas is saying, well, if it's a yellow card one way, we see it on this side as well. It's a talking to for John Brown. Villanueva got it from Kubo Torres. Great bit of skill. Continues Villanueva. Finally, Villanueva twists himself to ground. Clearance comes back. Let's take a look at tonight's injury report. It's brought to you by Zolfagari Law. Danilo Acosta dealing with a knee injury. We mentioned the lower body injury to Chapa Herrera. And Sebastian Velasquez dealing with a lower body injury as well. One of the more dynamic playmaking players in the league when he is in the lineup.
A couple of weeks away. Good news that he's slowly on the mend. Bad news is they are so thin right now. So the other silver lining to the loss of Seba is the fact that the boys on the front line, specifically Lucho, starting to tick at a really high level. Still maintain the testament, though, that I don't care what Orange County has looked like. You know, what they look like at home is usually a different story. The fact that they've only got, I understand it's 5 matches, but only 1 loss on the season. This is a quality opponent when you go on the road. And for El Paso Locomotive, I look at this as a massive statement game for them. 4 wins in the last 5, that's great. If you look at the 5 overall, Mike, if I told you ahead of time, Loudoun, Tulsa, Lostos, Pittsburgh, Sac, you would probably pick out Sac or Pittsburgh and say those are one of the 2 that they could lose. And that's exactly what went on. They lost to Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh, which many a team do. They were able to take down Sacramento Republic, so when you turn the corner, what now?
This flag is down. Iloski has turned the corner. Picks his head up, has support. It's late. He's going to accept a corner for it. If Iloski gets a good leading first touch, he could have been gone. A corner, bakery, corner kick. Bells are tolling. Kanangas went short. Shuffled back, Kanangas. El Paso not caught snoozing. Canningus will give it another go. Soars up and over.
This is some kind of ball whipped in. Dear Lord, how do you not hit the frame here? I don't care who it is. Brent Richards obviously gets the touch on it, but Mikko Canningus, look at that wand. His left foot, Richards and Kubo. Good little separation created between the two of them. That's actually Kubo who looks like he gets the touch. Evan Newton gets caught in traffic.
And Orange County is starting to pick up a little speed here. That's a foul. And a free kick to come. Orange County Soccer Club and Scottish champions Rangers FC partnered for a series of youth camps this season. 3-day session from July 6th through the 8th. The first of 3 2022 camps. And over to orangecountysoccer.com/camps for more info. orangecountysoccer.com/camps. Hines shaken up.
It's not a good look.
Hines a couple years at Akron in the post-Porter era. And on to Tacoma.
Just watch the top turns and there's no contact. Got caught up underneath him. Was that his knee that came up to his chest?
Well,
possibly.
They've made an immediate sub.
Oh boy.
And Aaron Gomez comes on. The sub is brought to you by MetaQuip. Wow. And you hope that that's not significant to Nick Hines. And this is to be honest, neither of these clubs can really afford injuries right now. They've been so banged up this year, but El Paso's running on fumes.
Well, they changed the look in the midfield as well with, there's that little pinch that I talked to you about, whether Danny Peterson or Kasipli. Now it's Kasipli who's pinched underneath. Mikko Canningus had started up top, and as they spread the look out a little bit, there was a good reaction by both Barelli and Siobhan John Brown to track the runners. So what they've done is they've pinched Oloski and Kubo Torres just a bit tighter down underneath, almost right in front of that back four as the outside backs get higher. And they've brought a 6 underneath Canningus and usually Peterson to try and combine a bit more fluidly to build up through the middle.
Run forward here. Collision, play comes back. And a yellow card comes out to Hunter Gorski.
Enjoy him while you can, Mike. I'm telling you right now, this kid's not staying around for much longer.
Luna.
Diego, he'll be gone. All due respect to the USL Championship and El Paso Locomotive. He's got that type of talent, a generational one who's come up through El Paso Locomotive. Everybody knows that he's getting looks with the youth national team, that change of pace, change of direction, his IQ, vision, everything is there. And the tools are the tricks of the trade. How consistent can you be? He's proven it over the past 12 months that the answer is most assuredly yes, he can.
Harsh step, and now the service across. This taken out of the air by Yuma. We're being told Nick Hines has gone to the locker room to be looked at further. The athletic trainer joining him there. He came off a few moments ago in favor of Aaron Gomez. It's a bit behind Kanigas. Just getting comfortable here in Orange County. OCSC and El Paso on level terms. Long ball that's caught by Evan Newton. Villanueva, one of the newcomers into this group. He came from Tacoma. Sprung forward Peterson. They're smoking something over there. The grills continue to flame. Contact Olowski. Natalie Simon says no. Simon's 14th career assignment in the USL Championship. There's John Hutchinson. 6th in the Western Conference.
What a journey it's been for him. You and I haven't seen him since his time in Seattle Sounders organization.
He was there in 2018, finished 16th in the West.
You know, extended conversation, Mike, about a million things, to be fair. but at the tail end of it, I said, listen, I'm running a little long here, and normally it's 5-10 minutes. Let's talk about the game, tactical breakdowns, but first opportunity to really dig into the nitty-gritty of this 2022 season. And normally you ask this one first. I asked it last, and I said, why the United States? Why the championship? Why El Paso?
And this is a guy who played for the Maltese national team in 430 games in Australia and China.
Yeah, and he's also coming off a 2021 season in Japan as an assistant. So you kind of look around and go, okay, well, why are you back here? Not in a negative sense. There's just so many other places around the world, literally, that he could have gone. And always kept an eye in the rearview mirror on the USL Championship. Knew of Mark Lowry and El Paso. Saw that he was leaving. Said he was brutally honest. Said, you know what? I'm going to apply. Just throw my name out to the club, see what happens, and go from there. When the opportunity came calling, he has such an aggressive philosophy of what he wants to do within his system. The allurement to this club wasn't just what had already been in place.
Olowski wants the return. Olowski can do something here. It bounces over the goalkeeper and in. He's done it again. Orange County leads shy of a half an hour. And Newton can't quite believe it. That found some kind of divot.
Luck of the draw for the Turf Monster in a second. Still a beautiful sequence for Orange County. Watch how quickly the rotation occurs on the left-hand flank. Inside out, you get into a one-on-one situation, and how about the triangular movement? Olowski starts far on the left. The switch that occurs about 15 minutes in You see it go from a 3 to a 2-headed monster up top, still with the ability to invert at a moment's notice. How about that bounce, though? You can't fault Evan Newton on this one. Quality of form for the striker for sure, but look at this nasty bounce that comes up off the pitch for the goalkeeper. Oloski now has 4 in the last 2 games for Orange County.
6 on the year, and to your point, 4 in 120 minutes of game time. Unreal. Didn't it feel like Orange County felt a bounce here, a bounce there? That is literally the biggest bounce they've gotten all season. And if you're Evan Newton, you're checking the ground to make sure there was no earthquake or a trampoline under that area, but wow.
You can't believe that if you're a goalkeeper, man. That's just the way Oloski hits it, that's a foul. The way he hits this thing, Mike, it's just this over and over and over again. You expect this to bounce 2 or 3 times right in front of you. Little push to the side, maybe even cradle it with both arms, pick it up, quickly transition the other way.
Brutal for one of USL Championships all-time greats. And look, the field here is pristine.
Oh, one of the best in the business.
Right, it's literally a 1 in a million. But Orange County will take it, and they're ahead here half an hour in.
They've definitely been, I don't want to say been the better team, they've created the better opportunities. Sort of a weird flow between the 2 squads so far.
Here they go again, Kubo through, Kaningas! There's Newton. That ball rolled true. That was telegraphed from a mile away, wasn't it? That through ball from Kubo.
You could see it coming.
Brilliant.
And Miko as well. My personal favorites for Orange County last year. Another good little pickoff. They've done really well in these tight-knit spaces to quickly step in and then move forward. Midfield 3 just seem off. There's some good balls coming off the back line, Yuma and Andrew Fox, how quickly they're starting to move it forward, but I would say that Richie Ryan and Eric Calvillo, just no real combination so far. Diego Luna, a couple of movements, but there's this gap in the middle that the second they start to play through them, they're not responding to some of the defensive sequences that are coming from Orange County. Much faster in recognition of the little steps into those small areas. Easily able to play through it.
Good run forward again for Orange County. A step over, seeking a little bit of space. Richards. Orange County is going to keep that. Kaningas rolled back, got a foot to it.
Let's go back a second, by the way. Just before the goal by Orange County, we were talking about John Hutchinson and some frustration there by Udra Solinak. His opportunity coming here. And he said, Mike, that when it did poke its head out, the ability to come to a place where he knew no one, didn't bring a single staff member, said that the idea of being so positive in nature, to go in and change his system so drastically like that.
Good ball wound through, but a handball. That's Oloski there again.
Well, you're just seeing that at Orange County tonight is Oloski very cutely tries to bring this out of thin air. Pretty sure you can't do this. Beautiful little touch, to be fair, though. That if he could go somewhere on the other side of the world, not bring a single supporting staff member with him, institute his own type of football and find success, that would be the true measure of his ability to manage a squad. I'm starting to get a good idea of it, although they're down 1-0 here.
All tapped away from the on-rushing Zacharias. If anyone's basing either of these managers based off one game, though, I mean, you know this as well as anybody, any given night.
Yep, especially in this league.
It's about the long run. Ryan snaps it outside. John Brown was offside. I mean, look at the result out east tonight. Monterey Bay, who started on the road, their stadium being constructed, 1 win in 8 road games, goes to Louisville City, wins 2-0. Meanwhile, Orange County here, a 1-0 lead over El Paso by way of Milan Alaski. Miami Charleston score, the Tampa Bay Pittsburgh result. A couple of eyebrow raisers. Probably Simon's gone over to check on the injured player here for Orange County.
Mark.
Orlowski's not going to care for that.
The big brother that is the Western Conference this year.
I was going to say, Milan is the younger brother, isn't he? Offside flag is up here.
Take no prisoners.
Orlowski injured a moment ago, but he continues on. He scored 8 minutes back.
Really like the movement coming out of the midfield for Orange County. That hop, what a dagger for Evan Newton. He can't believe it. I feel for him. With the way that they've tweaked this shape on the inside. Villanueva, Orlowski, Kaningas, Kasipli, all finding quality results within each other. But really the three, it's an interesting dynamic that's going on. The 2 boys up top, but just watch the inside of the midfield, Mike, right around the center circle. They go flat, they move into a box. There's that triangular type shape. A lot of questions for El Paso Locomotive, all trying to find guys like Diego Luna and Eric Calvillo on the ball a bit more frequently, have not been able to do so. So a lot of the game has been on the exterior of the field. But as they come to the outside, they're not transitioning fast enough. And when the balls are whipped in, there's plenty of the coverage on the defensive front for Orange County.
Turning Zacharias, outside Solignac. Contact, handball. Well, arm went up here from the referee.
Definitely high as Borelli comes right to the top. He's trying to step through it, legs away. Does hit his hand though too. How much contact is there? You cannot afford to lose another player here if you're Hutch.
Well, and Orange County started to walk away like, okay, it's a handball. It's going the other direction. And now they're going to have to line their wall up, aren't they? There's a lot of confusion here. What is this, a rugby scrum? Tough to hit from here, Dev.
The problem is you've got so many talented individuals willing to hit it. 40 minutes in, when you haven't produced a lot of opportunities, this is where the meeting of the minds can actually get in the way. Everybody's got confidence. But what sort of quality do you have 5 minutes before you enter into the dressing room and have an extended conversation? Andrew Fox in that left foot of his, you can see lurking. That's 6 men, 5 men in the wall. Rakowski's still trying to organize the troops. I would say they can get really clever at times from dead ball situations. And just to the right of your screen, lurking over here, Zacharias. It's a tight angle, but if you could knock this quickly, he's got daylight.
It's a short run up. It's Fox! No news is good news in Orange County on that effort from Fox.
He really doesn't get that much dip on the ball. Semi-decent angle. It's confusing for Rakowski because he's got right and left, and as they both step at the same time, Rakowski jumps at it a little bit, just shifts to his right-hand side, gets lucky, because even though there's not a lot of tempo put behind it by the center back, if this is on frame, this is 1-1.
Orange County is going to give this all they've got. Richards. It's going the other way. Hey, there's a party going on in the fan zone tonight, the second beer fest of the year in the annual OCSC Beer Fest series. Fans can enjoy unlimited tastings from over 25 local breweries, over 50 different flavors. Don't miss out on the last one of the season, September 10th. Visit orangecountysoccer.com/tickets/beerfest. That's Devin's catnip.
Oh, I need that in my life, man.
Yellow card.
Well, I saw that on the docket. Chad Remini, the great man in the front office for Orange County, always kind enough to send over what's going on out west. I also saw the watch party for El Paso Locomotive at Union Draft House. Shout out to Duke Keefe, play-by-play guy for the Locomotive.
Oh, yeah.
Hanging out with the eighth notch.
Do you think he's turned us down for this game and he's providing?
If he's smart, he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you know what that is, Mike? You only turn it up for the goals, and you've got music blaring during the match itself, just celebrating the libations in the meantime.
Sure. Ball rolled back by Kubo. Taken on by Kaningis. Flip by Kasipli. Central Kaningis. Supporting run Orozco. Villanueva. Peterson and Kaningis. Orozco going back. There's Rakowski. Kaningis. And thrust forward. Closing in on halftime here. Coming up at the half, we'll show you the scores around the league, get you caught up on what you may have missed. The Open Cup is right around the bend, Dev. Meanwhile, we've got a barn burner here.
It's being polite. Right here, this is the breakdown where both teams outside of the one goal have really struggled for any sort of quality. The expected goals right now, Mike, between these two, let's clarify, between the two, that's a combination.
Yep.
0.42.
1.42?
No. 0.42. And math has never been my strong suit, but less than 0.5 is definitely not a good look.
Roll back to Kaningis. Overtaken here by El Paso, and Richie Ryan reverses.
I give a lot of credit to the defensive shape of Orange County not allowing movements like this. Locomotive step up through. They like to maneuver through the lines quickly, have not been able to do so. That's the recovery of the midfield five. As quickly as the back three spread out, they condense even faster. And then on the other side of the ball for El Paso Locomotive, the inability right here on these little turnovers. Where do you build next? Richie Ryan's been very clean on the ball, but I go back to my comments around the 30th minute. Where's Diego Luna? Where's Eric Calvillo? That midfield three to step from point A to B to C. That's where they found success really over the last couple of games. And not just because they're 4-1-0, but the overall play itself, much higher quality. These movements, it's off. It just seems flat. You would also say that 6 games in 21 days and all those injuries are starting to come into effect. And that'll be the conversation at halftime of this was never going to be an easy one. I mentioned how after their win against Sacramento Republic, John Hutchins said the locker room almost felt like a loss. There's no music, heads were kind of down. Of course, there's the injury to Chapa Herrera, but they had never really struggled that much through a game and still found a way to get a result. That's close, by the way.
Referee put the whistle to her mouth and then pulled it out and waved her arms aside. Stoppage time is presented by Zulfagari Law. Minute and a half into the 2 minutes.
The struggle being down 1 on the road, it's another character issue, and these are the building blocks that will, at the end of the season, help you, provide that platform for success. You look back upon this and go, well, they were able to come back and get a result on the road at Orange County. They struggled at home against Sacramento Republic, but dug down deep for a 1-0 victory. That's what you want to talk about, the belief at halftime. If you're John Hutchinson, and Richard Chapo is just going to say, guys, let's pick up the intensity a little bit. As you approach the dressing room, they've been the better team, haven't provided themselves a lot of opportunities, but they did get greatness from that man right there. 4th goal in 2 matches, 6th on the season. That's tied for the clubhouse lead in the USL Championship Golden Boot race. How much more can they provide themselves in the second 45 minutes to add to that tally?
Olaski assisted by the Turf Monster. A 1-0 advantage garnered back in the 30th minute. Pro Sport is the official physical therapy partner of OCSC. They sponsor halftime, which is coming up next. A look around the USL Championship and so much more on the other side. OCSC 1-0 up on El Paso at the break. Back post run, header down and in! Rakowski got a piece. Asante turns. Rakowski gets up. Orange County strikes first.
We never knew that it was going to be one of those sought-after IPAs all over the world.
One was a double IPA, the other was a single.
It was Doug's idea to combine our 2 recipes together.
And that was the key.
They gave me the beer, and I thought, this is the best beer ever. And they said, yeah, well, it's 7%.
Yeah, and that's how a beer called Sculpin was born.
When you're making something and creating this art, and then you get to share it with people and they enjoy it, it's why we do what we do.
Welcome the following groups to tonight's game. Please welcome Apple Valley.
Welcome back, everybody. It is halftime between Orange County and El Paso. Halftime is presented by Pro Sport, the official physical therapy partner of OCSC. Mike Watts, Devin Curl, let's bring you some of the best of the highlights from the midweek. How about Miami and Detroit? How about just Detroit in general? How about Miami today? Let's start on Wednesday.
I said the argument to you for Detroit City was that's great that you can beat these teams at home. It's great that you can go on the road and get a result. But how about when you step up against a high-quality opponent? They answered that call. They were brilliant for about 92 minutes against Miami on the road at FIU Stadium. But the problem, Mike, and I tell you this before, is yeah, it's not only 90 minutes. Sometimes you got to tally onto the end of that. Adonijah Reed, 95th minute. It's not game, set, match, but it is the game-tying goal. 1-1 at the tail end of it. Just tap it in. Thank you very much.
Tap, taparoo. Give it a little
Persevered, right? They weren't good in the final third, but they found a way to get a point. I commend them for coming back because that was a brilliant shout from Trevor James and Detroit City on the road. Unfortunately, you got to finish it off. They couldn't. Miami did. 1-1. 901 FC. Much like Orange County, they took a page out, brought the whooping stick to the tally of 5 goals against Los Dos. Johan DeMay and what they've been able to do recently, 14th minute, kiss you do. 19th minute, Malloy. Jeremy Kelly in the 45th. That's 3-0 in case you're trying to keep proper mathematics at halftime. Goodrum, 58th. Egbo, 83rd. Throw a red card in just for fun. 5-0. 901 FC, much like Orange County, they hadn't done that since 2019. Ben Pierman was just a glimmer in the eye at that point in time. He was with Detroit then.
Yeah. Dev, is Ben Pierman the coach of the year right now?
Yes. I would have to say it. Although you could make a strong argument overall for Trevor James. I would also say something in the Western Conference, again, about Alan Marcina. 3 years in a row for San Antonio. And how about Brendan Burke and what he's been able to do with Colorado Springs? Only 1 loss on the season, which came from who, Mike? 901 FC.
Correct. Here's the Eastern Conference, and how about Detroit is in a tie for first?
Yeah, give it time. Again, I know the fans aren't going to like it, but I got to say to you, you have to understand when you start playing these opponents on the road, the qualities, the Louisvilles, the Rowdies. You have to go out west to Vegas. You go to Indy and Mark Lowry. It's a whole nother animal than what you've experienced 11 games into your USL Championship campaign.
All right. Well, the USL Championship rolls on as the sun sets in Orange County. Halftime is presented by Pro Sport, and we've got plenty more USL news and notes and more coming up.
It's a goal for Orange County SC, and their first of the season.
And that's full time. The old guard with a new trophy. Orange County wins the USL Championship final.
For the black and yellow, New Mexico takes the lead, and all 12,000 plus here at the lab are on their feet.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals. I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
Shovels.
Where did you come from?
Ever find a body?
What? No.
Did you contact 811?
Who are you?
Did you know it's the law?
Why is a child yelling at me?
What if you hit a gas line? Who pays to fix it? Do you? Does my neighbor? Can you go to jail? How much is bail?
It's good to ask questions, like did you contact 811 before digging?
Are we going to jail?
I don't know.
Welcome back, everybody. Enjoying the night out, and that's pitch side. You want some of this sucker? I already had the whole thing. Sorry about that. Mom, can you? All right, thank you. All right, on we go. Let's take a look at news and notes. Devin has a 2-year-old now. He gets it. Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Louisville and Sacramento. Those are Wednesday on ESPN+.
I'm looking at the bottom of the screen with all due respect. I think that's a great shout in Open Cup and what could be for the USL Championship. We can't understate the journey that has been for Devin Sandoval, the issues medically that he's experienced and his ability to step away from the field, stay focused, such a leader on and off the field in that community, and an opportunity to re-sign with New Mexico United back on the sideline and an opportunity to step into the 11 for Trevisani's squad. Hats off to him.
Yep, and that's a guy with major credentials historically with that club and around MLS. Here's a look at the scoreboard tonight. Pull your jaw up off the floor. Miami 4-0 on Charleston. Fine. Monterey Bay, their second road win, third win overall. 2-0 at Louisville. That Rowdy's Riverhounds game was lit.
Great comeback by Neil Collins. Back-to-back wins. I'm hearing some controversy, by the way, out at the place where dreams go to die, HEB Park. Apparently the final goal in the comeback victory for RGV. Don't necessarily know if the ball went over the line. Go look at the replay. You be the judge.
Okay, I'll take a look. Here's the upcoming schedule. It's brought to you by Destination Irvine. There's a game Sunday. Devin's going to call it.
That's a track meet. That's a trap game for 901 FC. I mentioned 6 games in 21 days for El Paso Locomotive. Memphis 901 FC is going to play their third in 9 games, including changing time zones and playing on the road. Be careful, Ben Pierman. Be careful.
Halftime is brought to you by Pro Sport, and it rolls on when we return. Orange County 1, El Paso 0. Run, header down and in! Rakowski got a piece. Asante turns. Rakowski gets up. Orange County strikes first. Closing in on kickoff for the second half. Orange County's retaking the field. OCSC 1, El Paso Locomotive 0. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. Halftime is presented by Pro Sport, the official physical therapy partner of OCSC. Let's get you caught up on the first half, because you shouldn't have missed it, but maybe you did. The highlights are brought to you by UHSM. We start in the 4th minute. It's Richards on the run.
It's never a good look for El Paso Locomotive when the average position of 10 of your players is pinned within 50 yards of your own net. And that's kind of how the First half went for them. They were deep and they couldn't find any sort of build. You saw a lot of wide play for both teams, especially Orange County. It started on the right in terms of the overall build, but the actual success came down the left-hand flank. A response from El Paso Locomotive, 11th minute. Guess who? Yuma coming off the back line. Great vision as he puts this thing up over the top. So close to picking out Lucho on the far post. Good little combination. I like the recovery here from Albi Skendi. It sends us to the corner. Corner on the other side. Orange County in the 20th minute. The left foot. Kaningas whipped in. Pace. Precision. No goal. Evan Newton gets caught in traffic. Gets some help defensively. Brent Richards actually gets in the way of Kubo. Kubo up over the top. 10 minutes later, though, they would find their breakthrough. Watch as they work through the left. I mentioned the initial movement starts on the right, but you go Danny Peterson, Villanueva, and then Wachalowski peel off here. Great little move to the inside. Nobody steps. The shape is off as Richie Ryan gets pulled over. The other two in Luna and Calvillo don't drop back quick enough. His 4th goal in the last 2 games, 6 on the season. That's tied for the league. Terrible hop up off the deck. Evan Newton can't believe it, but Richard Chaplow happy heading into the dressing room.
And here are the halftime stats. 1 shot on target, and it's the one that ultimately finds the back of the net. And expected goals would suggest that this game should probably be 0-0. And yet, Orange County's got the lead. Olaski, the goal scorer in the 30th. And we're ready for the second half here in Irvine. The sun's gone down, and this stadium looks beautiful at night, doesn't it? Here we go. Natalie Simon blows the whistle, and we are underway in the second half. Orange County in orange, El Paso in white and blue trim. Peterson with Gomez by his side. See the records, it's not indicative of past results, that's for sure. In years past, perhaps. For Orange County, a win here would pull them up above 500. For El Paso, a win would put them at 500. Dev, that first half, you and I talked off air. The midfield for El Paso, how do you get them touches on the ball? Is it just trying to probe through that midfield like this moment through Calvillo? Is it the way the game has been played to Orange County's credit, or is it El Paso to their detriment avoiding it?
Combination of both, actually. And you know, the definition, Mike, of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. That's what's going on for El Paso Locomotive right now. Sometimes you just have to take what the game is giving you. So what's in front of them right now? Long balls up over the top. There is space in the midfield. The problem is it's actually sandwiched just in front of the back line. Gorski, Skendi, Orozco. It's a good job by Kasipli, Peterson, and Kaningas. You have to find it when that lone 6 comes up and either flattens out or they push one in front and almost create a spear at the top of the 3 within the midfield.
Orange County got very compact. Borelli with a deflection toward Luna. Comes out up top to Andrew Fox. The switch. Brought into the area, Solignac. Turning a drive, Rakovsky will settle that.
That would be my next argument right there. You know, 20 yards from net. And understanding that you can go direct and up over the top. Lucho Solignac, you would love to get the ball out in front of him. Obviously the aerial success that he's achieved over his career, especially with El Paso Locomotive, but use it as a target man as well. Play into his feet, play off of him. Zacharias, Aaron Gomez, any of those can easily get involved within that front 3. So you reset your line, Mike, you go up over the top and then move Calvillo and Luna into a 5-man front as opposed to really the one-off that we've seen so far.
Nick Hines is back on the bench for El Paso, obviously came off in the first half. He was attended to in the dressing room, came back out with the team at half. The update we've heard from the sideline, it's mild, but of course his night is done, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back sooner than later. He was replaced by Jose Aaron Gomez. Gomez, one of the better scorers for a team that leads the league in scoring. 25 goals coming into the night.
The problem is they've also conceded. Now 19 coming in.
Well,
not exactly the great. It's good goal differential, but when you score that much and give up that much, that's really the downfall of what was the first 5 matches.
you know, Dev, I looked it up. You see Orange County when they lead at halftime so far this year. That's typically been a really good omen. El Paso leads the league by nearly 200 passes in opposition halves. And yet, to your point earlier and the tactical breakdown that you're giving as to how to fix perhaps the failure to feed that midfield, that sounds like a Mark Lowry stat, right? They've kept a lot of what made them great. They've just conceded too many here at the outset. There's an appeal here for a handball off Yuma. I'm not sure it's a bad shout. I'm also not sure Yuma had all that much idea what was happening either.
Another one that was presented to me, the great staff in the front office of USL headquarters, was that Orange County have prohibited the opposition from finding the back of the net 7 out of 10 games this year, Mike, in the first half. You're the only team to do it more. Louisville. Good company.
This is a good build-up across. Kubo Torres off the post. And the English on it pulls it back away from the goal line. That would have been an early second half dagger for Orange County. Early ball wound through and cleared. Torres scratching his head. That grimace, you know it anywhere for a goal scorer. He can't believe it.
I'm shocked he goes to the back post here. What a build. And Danny Peterson, man on fire at the start of the second half. Good first touch right there. Why not go to the near post? It's more difficult with the touch across his body to then come back to the right-hand side. 2 defenders closing him down. He's got daylight just in front of him. Had Evan Newton beat either way, the bounce helps him on one end and a detriment on the other.
Richards has a rocket launcher. Comes out, that got scuffed. Kuningas. Good slide, not once, but twice, and Richards lost the handle. Here's Luna. Further by Gomez. And through now, Solignac! What a turnaround, El Paso's level! Luis Solignac, 6th of the year. He's now jumped to the top of the league table. Right alongside Milan Olaski, 1-1.
The vision and words that come from their manager, John Hutchinson. How quickly can we transition from one end to the other? This is vintage. Watch the tackle, but Ellie, and then Richie Ryan immediately goes to work. The vision by Luna, little touch up in front. Gomez, unselfish, could have easily kept it in transition. Instead, sees all the space, puts it exactly where he needs to be. The back three of Orange County cheat a little bit, and the quality that is Solignac shines through once again to even it up.
And a foul sees possession back to El Paso. 52nd minute from Solignac. Eight goals in 2020 for San Antonio. And El Paso trying to get a second result in 3 tries when trailing at halftime.
You said right around the 48th, 49th minute mark, you were talking about stats, right? And how one of them was vintage Mark Lowry. Tell me there's not a bigger difference, and it's not a knock on either one of their systems, of what you just saw there compared to what you used to see under Mark Lowry and El Paso Locomotive. 2 very different looks for sure. But that is what Hutchinson wants to bring to this organization.
Ball rolled ahead. This game is wide open. The cross by Alaski is too far for Kubo Torres. Turned back over to Orange County. Early ball across. Alaski trying to get under it. A wave from Newton. It's going to stay in. Wow. Push to help keep it alive. Richards. Rolled along by Gorski. Let's tell you that Left Coast Brewing is the official watch party partner of OCSC. Catch all OCSC away games televised at Left Coast in Irvine, less than 5 minutes from Championship Stadium. A foul, that's Yuma. Yuma's going into the book. And let's go back a moment and just say Yuma had a potential handball that was not whistled earlier, and we've seen some awkward second yellows in recent weeks with those kinds of moments. He's not on a yellow now.
6 out of the 13 matches, to your point, that they've played this year, either an El Paso Locomotive player or the team that they're matched up against has been thrown out. So a second yellow or red card, not uncharacteristic for the games that they've played in.
Easy Fleet GPS yellow card. Will it be Peterson who puts this in play? Will it be the 6'5" Albie Skendi trying to nod this home? Ball floated all the way through, touchdown, and not toward goal. Corner. The net was gaping open.
How? Evan Newton gets lost here. There's so many people in front of him. How about that little touch? That's where it's come from. Is it Bodelli who gets the little flick? Good on the defender. Well done by Bodelli. You thought it was a mistake. Instead, it's actually quality defending to help the goalkeeper out and push it away.
Another great service by Kaningas, who's gonna have another crack. Corner Bakery, corner kick. Richards denied by Borelli. And now in the 57th, this game seems, compared to the first half, polar opposite. Kaningas. It'll come again in front of the County Line Coalition.
No coffee needed here, huh? This game is, it's on one right now. How about the conversation between Yuma and Evan Newton? Yuma not happy with the space in between, or the lack of commanding presence, at least in his opinion.
Service again, Kaningas. This falls, Kasipli. Lest we forget, this is an El Paso team that went to final after final in the West since coming into the league in 2019. You could argue the only team that's come into the league and had a greater impact was Louisville City, who've been to every Eastern Conference final since they got here. El Paso looking the part here on the road, trying to change their fortunes. You can see the expected goals is .42 combined in the first half. Different kettle of fish now. Hey, let's tell you, Orange County Soccer Club, in partnership with the Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation and U.S. Soccer Foundation, proud to be working on a new miniature outdoor hard surface soccer court, a mini pitch at Delhi Park in Santa Ana. Head to orangecountysoccer.com/mini pitch to sign up. Stay informed on free monthly clinics for the community. Richards Dev, were you ever a mini pitch kind of guy?
Absolutely.
Once your knees went bad or before?
No, before. Since they've gone bad, I'm more of a contributor.
Yeah. He's
Donor. That's probably the better word.
Sure.
Not the food.
If Devin goes into the Hall of Fame, it'll be in the builder category, not in the player category at this stage. That's going to send Gomez to ground. Ever play futsal?
Yeah.
What a game.
Actually, my experience with sort of the hard courts and smaller balls, they used to play mini ball when I was growing up in Omaha, Nebraska, and it was a heavily weighted ball. I mean, it hurt to hit, but it was much heavier than a futsal ball, and it was about the size of, I think it was a size 3, so similar in size. Played in the gym on like volleyball courts. Still have the VHS tape of my brother playing in it. That was one of the, the big actual, they called it a camcorder. You don't know what that is, you're too young, but look it up in the vault. Or read a book.
Oh, wow. Good thievery for El Paso. Well read by Orozco.
Really wide here. Orange County is, and they've told Richards and Villanueva to just go stand on the chalk. With that, not only has the ability to use the full girth of the field opened up, it's given the opportunity for El Paso Locomotive to start to slide through some of these windows that were certainly not there in the first half. The intensity higher, I would say too. In the conversation at halftime, what do you guys want to do here in the second 45 minutes? We didn't get dressed up for nothing.
Throw here for Orange County. It's not too late to join the OCSC ticket family for the 2022 season. Once the defending USL champions here in Irvine, while enjoying exclusive events, merchandise discounts, the lowest available per game ticket pricing. Get more info, orangecountysoccer.com/season-tickets. It's orangecountysoccer.com/season-tickets. The next home game in theory is a good one. New Mexico to start off June. New Mexico's had a little change to their schedule. How about that news today? Their match against Phoenix Rising postponed and then rescheduled in short order. Get to that in a moment. Richards, dangerous ball bouncing through. Recollected, struck on a line. No weird bounce to beat Newton this time.
Is that official, by the way? The rumor on when they're going to play?
Ron Patel was the chief business officer for New Mexico, among a series of other jobs that he's previously held. We will play Phoenix Tuesday night at the University of New Mexico Soccer Complex at 7 p.m. The Saturday night game tickets are available for use on Tuesday. So they're going to bring that into a bandbox and light the fuse. One of these days, New Mexico is going to have to win one of those, or else we're going to be talking about a rivalry that isn't one.
They turn around and go on the road 4 days later to Mark Lowry in Indy. If I'm not mistaken, I think Phoenix goes away. Oh, that's the Hartford game. Cross country for them.
You know, I'm going to say it. I really want to see how that plays out. I I think there are some folks that might, you know, throw a couple shekels one way or another. I'd actually steer clear of that game.
I'll just put it this way. I would definitely sit down with a bucket of popcorn and hang out and watch it for sure. Overly buttered, of course.
As it should be. Rolled across by Hunter Gorski. Pressure from El Paso, a little bit stifling here. Zacharias went down in a way that Orange County didn't care for. Luna, who shines in the night, will gallop here from Gomez. And a corner ceded to El Paso.
Did you know that you can play as Orange County Soccer Club in a video game? Download Football 2022 on your PlayStation, Xbox, or PC and play with your favorite USL Championship team. The best part, the game is free to play. Disclaimers, certain items are available for in-app purchases.
They're saying the Konami game is available free now, eFootball. Saying that here in the stadium.
You think I'm allowed to play?
How old is Camden now?
You've been in my home.
Yeah. Bouncing ball and the clearance. An El Paso player went down awkwardly. That got sent forward. Siobhan John Brown backstopped it. If you could play, which team would you play with?
Give me a reason to get yelled at this week.
Well, this is one of the big deals for me. If you're a regular slide tackler like that, you might want one, team with a little more physicality. Driven ball through. If you like the through balls, maybe you go for Phoenix. Passing team, El Paso's your team.
I'd play with Bethlehem Steel. can't get. I'd play with Bethlehem Steel, and Burke would be my head coach. Can't get in trouble. Bring back James Chambers.
Service through. That's chested down. That is brilliant. Because if you send that away, Richards was waiting. Quick ball ahead. Soloniak trying to sneak in behind. Tough slide. That's going to send Gomez to ground. That was excellent from Hunter Gorski.
Substitution for
Substitutions are brought to you by MedEquip. Off to the bench we go. Tommy McCabe is going to replace Seth Kasipley.
See if they change the shape now. He's gotten a little tired, Kasipley. I like the little change from El Paso Locomotive. They brought in Eric Calvillo a bit deeper next to Richie Ryan. The two have really started to balance out the midfield. Diego Luna, more advanced position by himself in the 10. It's nothing groundbreaking by any means, but over the course of the match, up until really the 55th, 60th minute, they were letting the single pivot of Ryan just drop down underneath. Now Luna gets to float by his lonesome, and that's usually where he creates at his best.
Corner comes in from Calvillo. That's going to bounce, and Luna was waiting for it. Luna bouncing, Luna crossing. Paso has 4 in the box, 3 awaiting the service. Richie Ryan's an assassin. Crossfield, header down's gonna sneak by Gomez. Woloski lost his footing. Rakowski nearly unleashed him, and Woloski commits the foul.
I noticed you shied away from the response, by the way, of getting into that conversation.
As someone who played most games of FIFA,
here we go.
And
I can't wait for your
a lot of slide tackles. I'm just saying, like an RGV or an Orange County would actually be pretty good for me.
I thought you maybe turned back time there and went with like a Briggs Wilmington team.
Yeah.
Oh.
Taken away, Luna, that's as easy as it gets. Diego Luna's never gonna miss from there. And El Paso's turned this whole thing around. And with the Academy team to celebrate with him in the 70th minute, 2-1 El Paso.
There is absolute anger between the back line and Rakowski right now. Was it a foul? Definitive pressure on the far side of the field with that high line of El Paso Locomotive as the ball came up over the top. Watch right here. The touchback across, no foul. No foul whatsoever. Great job by Lucho. Gets in behind the defender. Danny Peterson can't get through. He doesn't initiate the contact at all, and then Diego Luna just drops underneath. Rakowski comes off his line. Too many men for him to cover up. And shocking, 4th of the season for that man right there. Diego Luna, Locomotive out in front.
Wow, what a turnaround. And El Paso trying to step on the gas. Rolled back to Rakowski. By the way, tomorrow morning, the under-19s for Orange County will play El Paso. Luna. It's easy for Rakowski. They play in the Southwest Division of the USL Academy setup, so Luna goes to the only friendly faces in the stands, the under-19 boys that came up with El Paso for their game tomorrow. All the way through, little turn. The under-19s made a bit of a weekend of this. They played San Diego yesterday and fell 4-1. El Paso's under-19s at San Diego's under-19s.
There's a big focus right now on the youth system for El Paso Locomotive. Ivan Militar has stepped in as the academy director, and 7 teams from the U13 to U19 are set to compete in the newly formed National League Elite 64. It's the top 64 teams across 13 conferences nationwide to give them the ability to continue to develop guys like Diego Luna, push them through the system to achieve veteran status at a high level, much like you've seen from Sean Okoli, former MVP, still trying to get him back to that type of form.
It's a push, Kaningas.
Don't miss a minute of the action.
Displeasure.
Whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL.
I just want to know where Diego Luna goes.
Home to the USL.
When he does.
Yeah. He's not staying in this country.
UFC and more. Sign up tonight at
Let's
be frank. Okay,
go
ahead.
Let's just open the door to the fact that there's talent bubbling up out of the championship, and if we'll get to that in a moment. Lifted up by Ryan. if MLS teams aren't willing to take advantage of market inefficiency, then fine, the USL Championship's going to go overseas. You didn't bring Mark Cartwright here to continue to flounder at five-figure fees.
So the movement was already starting. He's just continuing that effort, right? He's got great vision, Mark Cartwright, and the pedigree coming in. You and I talked to him extensively at the final last year between this organization and Tampa Bay Rowdies at Al Lang Stadium, and he's got the vision. He, Jake Edwards, everybody in the front office have done such a good job at continuing to stoke that fire, and in the names, it's everybody, right? It's your Diego Lunas, your Jonathan Gomez. Of course, Kobe Henry is the name that's heavily talked about within Orange County. This is going to happen a lot more frequently, and it's going to happen sooner than you think.
Ball whisked outside and floated across. Newton comes out. Kaningas. He got stymied. And he gets tossed down by Solignac. Kaningas is running away from goal.
It looked like he felt this little turn was going to occur faster as he pivots away from the ball. Watch him step up into the space behind. Right there. He tries to come back over the shoulder. Feels like Kaningas is going to accelerate more rapidly. And instead, he actually slows it down. The jump, then realizes from Lucho that he's got to come back across, gets tangled up. And this is one of those spots you got to be real careful if you're ever Newton, because Kaningas, from this distance, he'll hit it. He'll catch you sleeping, whip it right to the near post off that left peg, but he's also got the quality to bring this into the gray area, sandwiched in between the penalty mark.
Oh, he laid this off. And floated through. There's contact in the area. The referee had a long look. Lasky, who's taken some offense to a few calls tonight. You and I are thinking about Kaningas' multiple options. You don't even think there's someone 25 yards from goal behind the wall.
If I'm in that situation, that thought doesn't cross my mind.
And
credit,
maybe,
I was going to say credit to them. How often does it work on the training ground, right? When you've got someone like Mikko Kaningas standing over the ball. We saw it at the final last year, saw it a couple of times within regular season and postseason play. He can strike it with the best of them. I want him to hit that thing. It's not the worst thing to be transparent and go direct to goal.
Changes are afoot. Dylan Morris comes on for Calvillo. That's the end of his return to Orange County. Subs are brought to you by MedEquip. Cristiano Francois comes on. Cristiano Francois, 8 goals in Ottawa back in 2019. His best season actually came last year in Miami, scoring-wise, 11. Newton, he's got that. Newton keeps growing that beard out. He's going to start looking like Gnarly, the new Orange County mascot.
I got to get in that suit, man. Who do we talk to about that?
Chad. Chad or Mitty.
I told them I would come and wear the suit. They couldn't wash it. I want the full experience.
I don't know if James Keston or Oliver, I don't know who keeps the suit between games, but ball across. Richards heads it down. Okoli, he goes up for it. It's finished. It's finished by Kubo Torres.
This is what you came to see between these two teams. Second half, some of the highest quality you'll get out of Orange County and El Paso Locomotive. Expansive play, stretching the field to the thinnest of margins. and then go execute. Inverted run by Villanueva, and then brings it back to the outside down into the channel as he knocks this thing to the back post. Good on Richards. Check out the trailing run. Nobody picks up Okoli on the inside. Yuma comes all the way to the end line to try and help out Evan Newton. He's got to step up into that space. Instead, ball drops on the doorstep, and easy enough to Torres to step in and tie it up.
78th minute, his 5th. Goal is presented by Hogue. Rolled ahead by Yuma. There's an electricity now. Francois turned it over. Orange County have numbers. Gliding forward. All wrong. That could have been the moment for McCabe in Orange County. '80th minute now, it's 2-2. Don't miss the latest Orange County Soccer Club news. Show your OCSC pride. Follow the team on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook, including Gnarly's recent run-in at a local school outing. How about this effort from distance? Coley swings it away, and at this point his teammates saying, hey, slow down. We had numbers. And Coley looking for glory. Who's the least likely person, by the way, to be in that costume? If you Scooby-Doo unmask the mascot.
Braden Cloutier. God love Braden.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, that was a good shout from production, by the way, in your ear. Did you hear that one?
I did.
Jake Edwards.
Yeah. Luna.
Oh, my God, it's Neil Collins.
You would have gotten away with it, too.
If Bob Lilly takes the hat off, now we're really talking.
Francois.
Look at how many numbers they have forward. Stark difference. What a ball.
Oh, wow. Luna. Luna through. Luna again. The defense is there. Lifted away. Morris the last to approach. Everybody involved in this, including Richards and the goalkeeper, Rakovsky.
Richie Ryan, take a bow. How good is this ball by Richie Ryan and Luna? You see what he's trying to do. Rakovsky closed it down just at the end. Watch the left leg. Gets a touch on it. Luna tries to meg him. Great save by the goalkeeper.
And the big German is wide awake now. Handball, chicken wing. Pulaski and Torres, the opener and the equalizer for Orange County. Solignac, an equalizer. Luna, the go-ahead goal. 2-2 in the 83rd minute. Fans, do you support Orange County? Why not represent Orange County? A full range of new merch now available. All 2022 merch includes the new star on the crest, so you can rep the USL champions. Visit OCSCshop.com. And maybe you can find Matt Fisher inside that wonderful costume. Is that shirt available? That's actually the exact same shirt our director's wearing tonight. Here comes Orange County again. There's support out here. It's Richards. Floating. Clearance. Kuningas. Stepping by Francois. The attack builds still. A trio of orange-shirted Orange County players awaited. Ahead here, Okoli. This has been a wildly uncharacteristic defensive performance based off last year, and yet based off this year, this feels somewhat par for the course.
It's pretty much Borelli on the back line and then everybody else. There's lack of communication. The shape is off. Evan Newton's slow to react, but as he comes out, he still does a good job providing pressure. But to be honest, what is Okoli supposed to do here? Even though he wins it and gets through, the support is blocked off. But Ellie recovers on the backside. Richie Ryan closed down the passing lane at the top of the 18. There's nowhere for him to go.
John Brown for Francois. Francois can motor. Sometimes, however, his studs can't keep up. Morris. Francois. Is that a handball? It's a corner, and it's in some ways 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Just keep an eye as these movements start to continue forward for El Paso Locomotive in the last 5 minutes, Mike. Aron Gomez is coming inside the shoulder, just on the left side of Lucho. As he does, it's opening a lot of space for Diego Luna on the back post.
Substitution for OCS.
Change on the way. What more can Milan Olaski give to this team right now? This is as good a form as we've seen him in this league. Oshandina comes in. Could he be the difference maker? The 18-year-old forward from Naperville, Illinois. It is a super young bench tonight. Subs brought to you by MetaQuip this evening. Olaski without much of a chance, making the most of it. Back in the 30th. Ball's flicked away, and here comes Kaningis. Head on a swivel, lost his footing, kept it alive. Torres overrun. Well, if the first wasn't a yellow card, the second was. Aron Gomez.
Easy enough decision for the referee. Cubo Torres actually loses sight of where the ball is, drags it up underneath him and tries to reposition his body, gets in front of Aron Gomez. Playoff-like atmosphere here in the second half, Mike.
No question. Is there a hero tonight in Orange County? There have been some wild late winners in front of these supporters on this end. Is it more of the same this evening? Driven ball ahead. Skips down, kept alive. Skendi will march it over the line. Corner Orange County. From a goal down, El Paso jumped ahead 2-1. Orange County's equalizer. And Solignac remains down. Kaningis has been pinpoint tonight. Borelli might as well wear a cape. He's been everywhere.
What a night for him. He's been incredible, Mike.
He's probably got 4 fewer inches than Okoli.
That's a mismatch.
Kaningas.
That's easy to see. How do they match up against each other like that? You can't allow that to happen. You could see this from afar, and so could Mikko Kaningas. As great as he's been from dead ball situations, just pick out Okoli, drifts from the back post, tries to redirect on the near.
Francois, we have entered stoppage time. It's presented by Zulfagari Law. 3 added minutes. Two teams that have epitomized success in this league for so long. Orange County, multiple #1 seeds in the West. The title they waited a decade for last season. El Paso side, multiple Western Conference finals since entering in 2019. Bounces into the hip pocket of Newton. Orange County goes away to Atlanta, away to Oakland, and then back here on June the 4th to take on New Mexico. You could argue 8 points of the available 12 in a 4-game span still represents a positive, and yet they led in this game, and they're still looking to pull ahead at the final gun. Maris. Luna. The game breaker.
This kid's something special, man. He's got some trickery underneath him. If Lucho sees that a bit different, he gets on the end.
Slaloming run all the way through. And now Torres cutting this back. Away by Newton. A lesser goalkeeper would have been caught flat-footed off the deflection. Corner Orange County with everything to play for.
There's the reason he's your shutout and save leader in all-time championship history. Bit unlucky here for Kubo, who sees both Kaningas and Okoli. Great runs by Orange County. Top of the 6, back post runs, 2 options. Just off the deflection. Good recovery by Evan Newton.
It's Peterson delivering. First headers away from Yuma. Kept alive, Villanueva floated. Peterson again, header right at Newton. And the flag was up. It was gonna be offside anyway. And that might be all she wrote. El Paso's got to be hugely careful here. Now, there was that lengthy discussion at the start of stoppage time. And one wonders if the referee's going to give any more time at all. And Richard Chaplow will make that walk. It's a draw at home. It is a hugely spirited second-half performance by both sides. But the reigning title winners will take a point away from their first meeting with El Paso this year, 2 goals apiece.
If that's what we're gonna see as the season goes on, I'll take it any day of the week. Both managers admitting that similar form coming in between the 2 squads, but a lot left to be desired. That second 45 minutes gives you a glimpse at what is behind the curtain that could be greatness for these 2 teams. More expansive in play, the ingenuity once they reach the final third. A lot of fun footballing being put forth by Orange County and El Paso Locomotive in the second half. Draw well deserved for both.
Well, it finishes 2-2. The opening goal in this match came from Milan Olaski. He's tonight's man of the match, presented by California Performance Company.
Said a couple of times already, hat trick against FC Tulsa. You had one tonight, Mike. That's 4 in the last 2 games. Math checks out. 6 overall. Tied for USL Championship lead in the Golden Boot. 5 others, one of which, Lucho Soloniak. Shocking.
Orange County and El Paso. A match worth the price of admission. We'll wrap this one up on the other side of the break. It finishes Orange County 2, El Paso 2. Run, header down and in! Rakowski got a piece. Asante turns. Rakowski gets up. Orange County strikes first. It finishes 2 goals apiece tonight between Orange County and El Paso. A game worth remembering, and the final score is presented by Ballast Point. Fans getting their favorite players' autographs here at Championship Soccer Stadium. A beer fest night, and one that ultimately has all the fireworks. Mike and Devin to wrap this one up. Let's take a look at the full-time highlights. They're presented by John's Incredible Pizza. We start in the 30th minute with an incredibly bad bounce for El Paso goalkeeper Evan Newton.
You had to fast forward a third of the way through the game because it was just flat out, well, Mike, flat, to be honest. It wasn't exactly the greatest performance by either team coming out of the dressing room, nor is it from the groundskeeper. Just kidding, not his fault. Watch the ball jump up off the deck in front of Evan Newton. Good little inverting run from Milan Olaski. Yep. Lady Luck shines bright for Orange County. They're out 1-0, but you would get a response right out of the dressing room. Lucho on this ball played through, but Ellie, Richie Ryan, this is how quick it happens. Luna, Gomez, and you're gonna find pay dirt. How about that touch out in front of them? Room to run, and quality into the bottom corner. We're at 1-1.
Soloniak joins Olaski after just a minimal time apart on 6 goals, co-leaders in the USL Championship. Head to the 70th minute. Diego Luna's not going to be here long because he scores goals like this. It's hard work, and ultimately it makes it easy at the end.
You got to give him on the trailing run, Mike. A lot of credit for Diego Luna because it could have been Zacharias, it could have been Gomez. Instead, one of your attacking midfielders, because Calvillo is still in the game at this point in time, continues to follow the play up, the pressure underneath. If they lose it, they have another line of confrontation. The youngster picks it up, puts him in front 2-1. 8 minutes later, response from Orange County. How about this sequence? Inside, outside, outside again. Ball to the back post. Okoli, no. Yes, by Kubo Torres. 2-2 on the follow-up finish. Back to even.
A 78th minute equalizer, and Orange County will take a point out of the game. Let's take a look at the incredible play of the game presented by John's Incredible Pizza. And it's another look at how this finished at 2-2.
You know what's interesting, and I didn't really think about it until now. How did we not mention it, Mike? The first name in the conversation that we had with Richard Chaplow was Villanueva. He talked about him on the left flank to keep an eye, how good he was, what he was going to be able to do as he progresses throughout his professional career. He provides the movement and the ball whipped into the box on the game-tying goal for that man right there, his 5th on the year.
Cool moment for Kubo. as it finished 2-2 on Torres's goal. Here's a look at the Ballast Point full-time match stats. 2 goals apiece. Dev, there was 1 shot on target in the first half, and I'm not saying we exactly lit the world on fire, but that's pretty notably different.
I'll say it. It was 7 shots total, 1 on target. Total 23 and 8. Carry the math. Yeah, that's 16 and 7. How about the efficiency? Half the shots put on the 8x8, and of course it never hurts that we got some goals in the back of the net. That's a prelude of what's to come the rest of the season, and high quality for championship contenders in Orange County and El Paso.
Rakowski sharing a cool moment post-game there on the field. He came up with a big stop of his own late in this one. Let's take a look at tonight's Save of the Match. It's brought to you by UHSM. It's a little bit of everybody. Luna nearly 5-hole on Rakowski, and well, 3 Orange County players get behind Rakowski after he makes that initial kick save. And that kept it level in the dying minutes to see Orange County to a point tonight. Gnarly celebrating one more time his inner Rapinoe. And if it is Braden Cloutier under that helmet, even he must be overjoyed. Smoke billows as Orange County, through Olaski and Kubo Torres, pull out a 2-2 draw tonight. Evan Newton a bit unlucky, but El Paso do get a vital road point. For our entire Vista NEP crew, Devin Kerr alongside, Mike Watts saying so long. And we'll see you next time. Orange County 2, El Paso 2. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.